Now we're getting into the e.l.f. Studio range of concealers, and this is the e.l.f. Concealer Pencil and Brush, and it has a concealer pencil on the one end, and the cap does have a sharpener. I'm hoping that you can kind of see it, and this sharpener is actually really good. And the other end has a brush, which is a little bit dirty, showing that I have actually used this. And this is actually a nice soft brush. I think this is possibly one of the more underrated products from e.l.f. Because it's actually an excellent product for on the go. And this is actually a medicated concealer, meaning that it has salicylic acid, which is known to work very efficiently against rashes or pimples, you know, acne generally. So the way you would use this is you just take it and, you know, put it on the skin. And this was the lightest shade they had available. And then you take the brush and you blend it in. And it does blend in really nicely. I like the fact that it's a pencil. It's creamy enough where you can blend it in. But you know, being a pencil, it's precise enough that you can put it on directly on your blemish. And I do find that putting this on your blemish does help it to heal up a little bit faster. I don't have any problems blending it, and it's really practical for on the go because you have both the blending brush and the concealer in one product, and you can just lightly and quickly touch up if you have one of those bad boys on your face that keeps rearing its head from underneath the layers of makeup. So I really actually do like this product, and this is my main anti-blemish product, I guess I would call it. And this retails for $3 on the e.l.f. website. I really do like this one. I have never tried it for the under eye area because I do believe this is essentially an anti-blemish pencil, but for that purpose it works really, really nicely. I really like it, and I would definitely repurchase this one. This is the e.l.f. Maximum Coverage Concealer, oil-free, from the Studio range, and e.l.f. came out with it I think about a year ago. This is in the shade Porcelain, which is the lightest shade, and this is actually a huge concealer because you get 20 ml or 0.7 fluid ounces. I don't know if you can read that down there. This is marketed as a face concealer, and I do agree that as a face and blemish concealer, this works very well, but it is also very decent for under the eyes. I guess my only complaint would be the packaging, because on this one that I got, the cap doesn't really stay on. See how it doesn't click? It's kind of loose on here. You can just turn it, but it's not a big problem, and you have a squeezy tube. If I just apply a little bit on my hand, if I can get it out, there it is. This has the consistency, I guess, of a tinted moisturizer or a slightly thicker liquid foundation. It blends very well. And I find that when I apply it to my face, I can actually do a little bit of highlighting with this. And once you completely blend it in, it sets. I actually have a small mole right there, and you can see that it completely covered it up. I think the coverage of this concealer is really nice, and I have worn it under the eyes, and the results were actually really good. It doesn't crease nearly as much as the All Over Cover Stick and the Cover Everything concealer from the Essential range. And if it does, you know what the cure for that is? The e.l.f. Moisture Stick. And I find that the best way to blend this in is with a dampened beauty sponge, those kind of beauty blender type sponges. because I find that that way the excess gets absorbed and you no longer have it on your face, and that minimizes the creasing. So I really like this one. As a blemish concealer, this is excellent. As an under eye concealer, it's very good. And as I said, this retails for $3, which I think is actually a very good deal for the large amount that you're getting, and I just smudged all over it. So I really like this one, and actually I like it so much that I purchased a backup of this one. Finally, these are what I would call the stars of the e.l.f. makeup brand concealer range, and these are also the newest product that they came out with. These are the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealers, and these retail for $3 a piece. And I have two colors. This is the brightening yellow one, and this is the one in the corrective green color. I got the green one for, you know, the odd pimple that I may get, and I got the yellow one specifically for the under eye area. Now I will say that I did not play enough with the green one to give a definite verdict on it. I do think it's very pigmented. They come with this doe foot applicator, and they're liquid. You can blend them in. It's very green, so I guess, you know, the best thing would be to apply this to do color correction underneath your foundation. Again, I did not have enough opportunity to play around with this, which I guess, you know, on the one hand is a good thing, but I cannot give a definite opinion on the green one. It does seem like it's pigmented, which I guess is a good thing, but at the same time, you have to cover this up. So I would not put this on top of the foundation, because you will just end up with a green spot, which is not pretty in my mind. But the brightening yellow shade, I think, is very close to what I would call the perfect under eye concealer. Again, it's a liquid and it has that doe foot applicator. There you have it. It's very pigmented, and it has a definite brightening effect on the under eye area. Obviously, if you blend it out with a brush, and e.l.f. has a really great brush for that, their fluffiest concealer brush. So if you blend it out with a brush, I'm hoping that I'm not totally out of focus on this one. If you blend out with a brush or with a beauty blender, you get a much nicer effect. Again, I have a small mole in this area, and as you can see, this covers it up completely. And I find that it does cover my very dark under eye circles, and it stays on. I don't really see this creasing very much, which is very, very nice. Again, you know, this is also $3 as the big one is, but you get a much smaller quantity. But then again, you know, you don't use that much under your eyes, and it does do a superb job in my mind. I still always set this one, but I find the results are really good. So I would definitely recommend this if you have dark under eye circles, the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer. And finally, I thought I would show you the two products that are excellent accessories for any of these concealers, and that actually improve the quality of any of these concealers. One is the brush that I like to apply them with, and this is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, which is this domed fluffy brush. It's a Teflon brush. It's really soft and really fluffy, and you can blend the concealer really well with this. It really does give you a flawless result. It's fluffy enough. I don't know if you can see it on my hand, but the result is really flawless. It distributes the product very well, and it works it into the skin so that it doesn't crease nearly as easily if it is prone to creasing, and it gives you that beautiful look. And I actually really like this fluffy brush, the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, to also set my concealer. And you can use a variety of powders to do that. The one that I like best is also by e.l.f. and it is the e.l.f. High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder. Now this comes in this kind of standard e.l.f. packaging, which is the square packaging that you may be familiar with from their cream eyeliners or their pigments or their matte eyeshadows or the later edition of their cream eyeshadows. And this is a very finely milled powder. And maybe, you know, looking at the cap, you will notice this better. It's not completely white. It is a little bit pinky, and it does have some very, very finely milled specks of glitter. So when I first got this powder, I was so skeptical about it, and I was sure that it was not going to do anything for me. But actually, it's wonderful. I do think there's a trick to it. I like to use this Flawless concealer brush that I showed previously to apply it, and I use just the amount that is sitting on the cap, and you have to use the smallest amount. You know, you take that on your brush and then you get rid of the excess, you tap it off, and only then, you know, apply it after your apply it on top of your under eye concealer. It just perfects everything, and it literally makes any fine lines that you may have in that area vanish. It locks in your concealer all day, and it makes those fine lines disappear. The trick is really apply the smallest amount, because if you apply more than the smallest amount, you will look like a glittery disco ball underneath your eyes, and that's not a pretty look. And I do think that actually attracts more attention to any problem areas you may have in there. But if you apply this very, very lightly, the result is beautiful. So in terms of rating these products, this is pretty much the order that they occupy in my mind. Starting with the e.l.f. Essential Tone Correcting Concealer over here. I would probably give this concealer a 3 out of 10. You know, the shade is okay for my skin. It does blend in, but it blends into nothingness, and it does absolutely nothing for my under eye circles. And for blemishes, it doesn't do much either, because it just does not have a lot of coverage. Then the all over cover sticks, I would probably give these a 7, because they are workable but just not the best. They're pretty versatile at that, because you know, you can use the darker shades as a cream contour, which I do like, and they are very, very affordable at just $1. Then going over to the e.l.f. Essential Cover Everything Concealer, I would probably give that a 7.5. These products, the cover, the all over cover sticks and the Cover Everything Concealer, to me are quite similar. Maybe this has a little bit better coverage, and I gave it 0.5 more than these, because I find that the yellow shade works better for under eye circles. Then the concealer pen and brush, I would give this a 9 probably. You know, mind you that you cannot really use this as an under eye concealer, but for blemishes it's really excellent, and it's compact, it's travel friendly. I actually really like this. Maybe more than a 9 if I'm thinking only about blemishes. So this is really an excellent product that is very much underrated from e.l.f., I believe. Then going over to the Maximum Coverage Concealer from the Studio range, I would give that a 9.5. It's really nice. It's excellent for any kind of blemishes. It will crease a little bit under the eyes, nothing major. It's really good, and you get a huge quantity of it, which is really nice. And you can also use this to lightly highlight underneath your eyes or down the bridge of your nose, or you know, on the top, in the middle of your forehead. It's really nice. And then these two, talking about the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer, I will refer more to the yellow shade, because I don't have enough experience playing with the green one. To me, this is 9.5 or very close to a 10. I think it performs very well. I did hear that the flesh toned version of these concealers is quite dark for fair-skinned people, which is why I did not purchase this. But I think both of these are excellent. And I do think that for any of these concealers, you can improve their performance by using these products, which are the Flawless Concealer Brush and the e.l.f. HD Under Eye Setting Powder. So overall, I think that you're likely to get a very good performance at a very affordable price with e.l.f. If I would recommend you to test anything out of this whole range, it would be these last three products. The yellow one, the Maximum Coverage Concealer, and the pen, together with the two accessories, which are really excellent. So I hope that you enjoyed this review, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in my next one. Thank you very much, and bye!